Welcome back, besties, dolls, and bestie dolls, to The Neighbors Are Playing Music Really Loudly. The show is actually called Bitching About the Hot 100, and I have to record it right now, so I'm sorry. Started this show last year to bitch about the Hot 100 because when I started it, the Hot 100 was in a disastrous state. Across the first few months of the year up to that point, there were no new hit songs. They were Encanto soundtrack songs, leftovers from 2021 like Easy on Me, and like D tier hits from artists like Doja Cat and Lil Nas X. Fucking Heat Waves topped the chart for 3 weeks. That's how bad it was. And it's a show I kind of kept up to continue talking about the Hot 100 whenever interesting and relevant things happen to it. And it's been a while since there was anything crazy going on the Hot 100. It's been more Billboard 200 stuff that has been grabbing my attention recently. But we're a few months into the year now, and it's time to check up on what's going on. And despite the title of this series, there is very little bitching to be done today. So far, the high end of the charts from the past couple months has been pretty good. After the mass exodus of Christmas bullshit from late December, we got a handful of the stragglers from last year that were sticking around, most notably SZA's Kill Bill, which I love to see SZA having a solo hit, her own song, be such a big hit. That's great. She deserves it. It kind of got blocked from number one and is still getting blocked from number one, so maybe the SZA solo number one hit song is still going to avoid her, but I'm still really happy with the success of Kill Bill. Like the song a lot, love the album that it came from, and really happy for that album's success as well. Also, the Metro Boomin, 21 Savage, and Weeknd song Creepin' has been a pretty big holdover from last year. It broke pretty late into the year last year, didn't even hit its peak until it was already 2023, and this is another song that I think is decent. I like the nocturnal stylings of it. I like the lyrical focus. I think these artists work pretty well together. I think this is a totally solid hit. And while we're talking about The Weeknd, another song that has not only survived from last year, but thrived from last year was the surprise December hit, Die For You, the track from Weeknd's 2016 album Starboy, which, God, I wish I could find my original review of this project to see what I thought of the song at the time. But now, yeah, I'm pretty happy to see it here. I enjoy it. It just hit number one last week because of the Ariana Grande remix that was attached to it. They're following the Save Your Tears formula for success, and it's working. I see the song sticking around, particularly now that Ariana has put her power behind it, and I don't have much to complain about it. I think it's a pretty solid Weeknd song. But the story of the year so far, of course, on the Hot 100 has been the 6-week number one dominance for Miley Cyrus with Flowers. And there's been quite a lot of discourse surrounding this song, as there always is with Miley hits. I will say it's pretty well known that I've never been the biggest Miley fan in the whole world, though I certainly think she's a better singles artist than albums artist. Most of my issues with Miley lie in her albums, and I think Flowers is a decent song. I have no complaints about it being a hit. I think it is solid. It is dancey. I'm not tired of it, despite just how omnipresent it's been since it came out. And it's just a shame that the album was such a forgettable flop, because I really kind of believed in the potential of this album as a result of Flowers and what I thought about it. And the results weren't great, but I'll take it. I think that Flowers still has some shelf life. I think it'll stick around for quite a while and probably even come back again come summertime, because it is just so dancey, so bright, so fun of a song, and because the general public isn't ready for Jessie Ware yet. Another big storyline, one of TikTok's homegrown stars, Pink Pantheress, teaming up with one of the breakout musical darlings of 2022, Ice Spice, with the Boys a Liar Part 2 remix that has been a massive, massive hit. I also like this song quite a bit. Ice Spice's contribution is exactly what the track needed to really set it over the edge. I did complain a little bit about the original song because it rips off the Doechii song Persuasive so badly, but this is just a more pop-friendly, less R&B, and more, bedroomy TikTok pop approach to it. I don't think the song is, amazing or brilliant or anything, and I think Ice Spice particularly completely steals the show, but it's a song that I've been listening to pretty much constantly on the radio and on social media for a couple weeks now, and I'm not tired of it yet. On the other hand, though, I am tired of Morgan goddamn Wallen. Yes, the country superstar who found himself in hot water for saying the N-word, and by hot water, I mean country fans streamed and listened to his music so relentlessly that he's now the biggest star the industry has seen in decades. And this hurts because I was right behind Morgan Wallen in the beginning of his career. When I was first starting to hear some of his moderate hit songs, I was really, really enjoying them. I think he brought a really distinctive singer-songwriter-y flair to country music that it's been missing for so long, and I bet big on his potential, and while that bet has paid off, arguably, it's been in a way that I don't like at all. Wallen's last album, which was also too long, lingered in the charts for an extremely long time, but by the time 2022 came around, I was just over his hits and some of his biggest songs. I thought that Broadway Girls was just awful, and his biggest hit of last year, You Proof, is okay, but the attitude is so toxic and obnoxious that I would never go out of my way to listen to it. And while this new album, which is nearly 2 goddamn hours, is also way too long, there are songs here I think are decent. There are songs here I think are better than most of the stuff he's released in the past couple of years since his last project, and there are songs here that I could see being half-decent hits. We'll just have to wait and see what sticks from this project. Unfortunately, the song that has become easily the runaway hit from the bunch, Last Night, is more along the mid-tier. It's not one of my favorites. I don't think it's one of the worst songs, despite what Todd in the Shadows might have said. I think it's just okay. It's very plain. It's very genreless. It's clearly just intended to be a hit song. But I think at the very least it has a sentiment, and it manages to express that throughout. It has topical focus that is distinctive and recognizable, and as much as I can complain about a lot of other songs in Morgan Wallen's catalog and country hits in recent years that have had either a really obnoxious tone or a complete lack of defining features, for this to be country music's first number one in a long, long time, it doesn't really make me want to bitch and complain about it because it's just so obvious. This is how focused and dumbed down and blurry country music had to get to score a number one hit. This is barely even a country song as much as it is structured like a pure pop song and comes with even some hip hop and trap influenced beats on the instrumental side of things. It's just a genre blur designed to be able to be played on any radio station. And I suspect for that reason it will stick around. It hit number one in large part because of the streams generated from the overwhelming amount of people streaming the shit out of Morgan's new album, which just dropped. And I'm recording this on Sunday, so the Hot 100, the top 10 will be out tomorrow and Monday. I suspect even if this thing stays at number one, it will not be a long-running number one hit. I'm not really sure this track has the legs to stand on its own. It's just one of those songs, like a lot of Wallen's hits from the last few years, that I think will linger around for quite a while. And it's always the part of the show where we make predictions, and because last year I correctly predicted that both Bad Habits and Unholy would be hits, I'm going to focus on those two and ignore every other prediction I made. And one of the things I try to look for with these album bombs whenever Drake or Taylor Swift or Bad Bunny or whoever releases an album, in this case Morgan Wallen, everything is going to be moving back, sometimes very significantly in the Hot 100, but to me, it is the songs that either resist that move back or perform better against other ones that are worth keeping an eye out for, and one of those is the Coi Leray song Players. Now, I'm not crazy about this song, but I am betting on its potential. One of the main reasons is that from the obvious sample to the seemingly innocuous single release before slow build into being a hit, and also just stylistic similarities, everything about this track reminds me a ton of Lotto's Big Energy, which I never predicted would be a hit song when I first heard it, and it took a really, really long time to catch hold, took a very slow build to its hit status, and I think Coi Leray is kind of pulling off a similar thing here with Players. It wouldn't surprise me if some of the people for whom this song has already taken a vice grip on will just continue to stream it, playlist it quite a bit, and the more and more people hear it, it is simple and clicky enough that I think it has that infectious mentality to it, and it wouldn't surprise me if come summertime this thing is in the top 10. Now, a song that I'm afraid I might have missed the boat on a prediction for the new Selena Gomez and Rima song, Calm Down. I wanted to jump on some of the Latin songs that have been climbing up the charts. Certainly, one would want to highlight Shakira, who's had 2 top 10 debuts, I believe, in the past couple of weeks. Someone who, for people that don't really pay any attention to Latin music and Latin pop genres, I can't imagine they have any idea just how much pull Shakira still has at this point. But the big one over the last 3 or 4 months, since all of Bad Bunny's hits started to fade out of the charts, has been this Rima and Selena Gomez song, which I'm just not crazy about. I don't really like the performances. I'm not really sure they have very much chemistry. I'm not sure this style is serving Selena's very limited vocal and performance range the best. Just not crazy about this song. Wish I was going to check out what both of these artists do next, because this was a slow burn, long creep up the charts kind of track. And while I think I might have missed the boat, I don't think this thing is going to be re-peaking in the coming weeks. Even as Morgan Wallen songs start to leave the charts, it's still something to keep an eye on. Bad Bunny has kind of opened the floodgates for a lot more Latin artists to do a lot better on the charts. At least I think. We've seen that certainly with Karol G, and now we're going to see who can pick up that mantle and continue it next into this year. Maybe this song will fly back and be better than ever. Maybe it'll be something else. It's just a trend that is worth keeping an eye on. And finally, this one is less of a prediction and more of just a hope, coming off having just finally published my review of the new Ray album. Really hoping that this song, She Has Escapism with 070 Shake, can bounce back really hard. It creeped up the charts all the way into the 20s last year and maintained that presence, kind of stopped growing for a little bit, and when all of the Morgan Wallen songs are flushed out of the Hot 100, it seems like it's going to jump back. The question is how high, and I really, really think that this song is quite good, has the potential to go quite high. I am pulling for it. Hearing it in the context of the album made me like it even more, and in that review and on social media, I said to bet on Ray's star power potential, and while this may not be the hit that does it for her, I think she has hits in her, and this and the album certainly prove that. So I'm hoping for big things from this, but we'll see. And that's it. There aren't a whole ton of huge, massive, already announced songs that I think will be crashing into the charts soon. I guess the new Ed Sheeran album is something to keep an eye on. Lewis Capaldi seems like he might be cooking something up, and I don't want to hear what either of them are working on. But that's it, and maybe if there is a God, one of the tracks from the new Lana Del Rey album will, hit number 1 and be her biggest hit in years. I doubt it. Don't hold me to it. That's it.